I was looking up there and I didn't see the member for Bowen, but he did stand at the same time, and it is in order. You'll get the next one, East Hills. Thank you. Member for Bowen.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the member for Cootamundra and Minister for Emergency Services and Resilience. Minister, with the flood inquiry announced and the terrible ongoing devastation on the north coast of New South Wales, it is likely the major focus of the flood inquiry will rightly be on coastal and northern river flooding. What assurance can be given that the inquiry will adequately examine emergency management arrangements in the west and far west, including thin markets for volunteers and the intersections between Resilience New South Wales and other agencies? Thank you, Mr Speaker.
Minister for Emergency Services. I'll just remind the member for Canterbury is on 3 calls. But she can chance it if she wishes.
Thank you, Mr Speaker, and thank you very much to the member for Bowen for his question. If I go straight into answering it for you today, the New South Wales Premier announced a review into the flood earlier this month, with Acting Premier Paul Toole establishing the independent flood inquiry on Monday the 21st of March. The inquiry will examine and report on the causes of, preparedness for, response to and recovery from the 2022 catastrophic flood event. While the inquiry is independent, the terms do indicate that the inquiry will be looking at flood events for the whole of 2022, which could include the flooding in the west. I'd encourage anyone who's been impacted by flooding right across the state, including the far west, to contribute to this inquiry. The review will ensure that New South Wales can quickly get on with improving its preparation for and response to flood risk, and the New South Wales Government has committed to considering all of the recommendations of the inquiry. As many members in this place would know, no 2 floods are the same and there's no formulaic response. But when it comes to natural disasters, we can never be too prepared. And to that end, the inquiry will examine and report on the causes of, preparedness for, response to and recovery from this catastrophic flood event, which is, of course, not just confined to the Northern Rivers region, but has now impacted on 58 local government areas across the state. As the member for Barwon would know, I too come from a rural part of New South Wales, equivalent to the size of Switzerland, and indeed I know that the member for Barwon's electorate is the size of Germany. So we both understand the geographical pressures faced by our local brigades and units. I had the privilege of visiting the State Emergency Services volunteers at Menindee, Wilcannia, Burke and Broken Hill within my first month as Minister. At this time during my visit, Western New South Wales was in the grip of a slow-moving flood event, which was by that stage in its 3rd month. We have been rolling from one natural disaster to another over the past few years, and as a volunteer with the SES myself, I've seen firsthand the stress and strain and exhaustion this is causing our emergency services personnel, both volunteers and paid. That was why my main reason for visiting Menindee, in fact, was to attend a recruitment drive for the local SES unit. I just wanted to reflect on comments made by the member for Coffs Harbour on Tuesday in this place, in that we saw a surge in RFS membership following Black Summer and similar hopes for the SES following these weather events. It is genuinely my hope that right across New South Wales in the months ahead that we do see a similar surge in SES membership. I acknowledge the efforts of the community in responding responding during the event of the past month. It's been exhausting for everyone, and I really acknowledge what those communities have been through. But the New South Wales Government will stand with our emergency services personnel and especially the volunteers, which is why we moved so quickly to activate employment protections for volunteers to ensure that they cannot be unjustly fired from their jobs while volunteering in flood emergencies. To further address the member's question, I want to clarify that Resilience New South Wales does not duplicate the role of emergency services such as the SES, the RFS or any other combat agency. In a crisis, the emergency services agencies remain the operational leads to save lives and protect property. During the response phase, Resilience New South Wales plays a support role. It manages the welfare services functional area and it provides personnel to run and oversee the State Emergency Operations Centre. But once the crisis has passed, Resilience New South Wales leads the recovery efforts, and Resilience New South Wales takes the lead on emergency management policy for New South Wales and ensures the coordination and collaboration across the sector. I had the great honour of a meeting with you last week, Member for Barwon, Mr Speaker, and I look forward to continuing our discussions with the hope of improving our volunteering rates and ensuring that emergency services is strong right across New South Wales, particularly in rural and remote areas. Thank you.
Thank you.